Thank you for checking out this week's sermon recap video. We are almost done going through the Sermon on the Mount, and we were in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 to 23 this past Sunday. Jesus has some words that we don't always like to hear, but that we need to hear. He talks about a narrow gate and a narrow way and how we need to be going through that gate and walking on that way, on that path. It's narrow, not just in the sense that it is thin compared to the broad gate, but it's narrow in that it is the hard way. It is the difficult way. It is the way of persecution. And Jesus expects that his followers will choose this, despite the fact that many do not. You know, it's so much easier to go with everybody else, and it looks like that is the way to prosperity, but the truth is, it's not. Choosing to follow Jesus is incredibly important, and we need to hear the gospel message from true teachers of the word as opposed to false prophets. Jesus says, you'll know who's who by the fruit of their life. And so it's appropriate for us to not be judgmental, but again, go back to what we learned a couple of weeks ago, to be discerning as to who we allow to teach us and speak to us as though they were speaking on behalf of God. Jesus then goes on and he speaks more generally to people who are or would be Christians. And he reminds us that it's not about lip service. It's not about saying the right thing. It's not about saying, Lord, Lord. It's about actually doing the will of the Father. Those are the people who do that from a sincere and changed heart that will inherit the kingdom. Now, there are other people, and they will do things, but they will do those things superficially. And as Christians, again, we choose the narrow gate. We choose the narrow way. We choose the way that many neglect, the way of, by God's grace, having our heart changed from the inside out and living in obedience to the will of God. I hope you've made that decision. I hope you've decided to follow Christ. And I hope that your faith is not superficial. I hope that your faith is not based on false teaching, but on the clear teaching of the Word of God, and that your heart's desire by the grace of God is that you long to do the will of the Father. If you're not there, I'd love to speak with you about the gospel and what it means to follow Jesus. And if you are there, stay on the path. Stay on the narrow way. Yes, it's hard. Yes, sometimes we're tempted to think, well, why do I have to do this? Nobody else goes through these kinds of things. It is worth it. It is the way to life. It is the way of Jesus. So be encouraged, and we do want to invite you to continue to come out on Wednesday nights and on Sunday mornings to worship with us and to study with us as we continue to follow Christ together. God bless you.